Taper Lock is a unique taper thread splice system that offers a Next Connect design platform based on the design principles of stronger, faster, and smarter. This machine allows you to easily adjust thread and pitch size to all standard rebar. It allows faster threading, lower cost per bar, and offers extended tool life. The D303 Taper Lock threading machine from Dayton Superior is the most productive taper threading machine in the industry. This video was produced so that certified operators can operate the machine safely and efficiently. It's highly recommended that you not only watch the entire video, but thoroughly read the operator's manual before unpacking, packaging, operating, or servicing this product. It's important that the operator view the following taper lock placement agreement sections. The caution avoid injury symbol will be overlaid where necessary. The video covers moving and transporting the machine, installation, operation, service preventative maintenance, and shipping and repackaging. Place the machine on a flat, sturdy surface within 20 feet of a power outlet and allow a minimum of 3 feet of access space around the machine. Install the roller table 5 feet away from rebar entry side of machine at 38 inches in height. Refer to the operator's manual for important safety instructions. Unscrew the 6 holes at the bottom of the shipping crate where the circle marks indicate. Carefully remove the top and side of the crate from the bottom base by inserting the forks of the forklift into the holes at the top of the container. Cut the bands that hold the machine to the base of the container. Lift the machine off the base using the forklift slots built into the bottom of the machine and set it into the designated workspace. Unravel the extension cord and connect it to the power outlet. The correct power for this machine is 480 volt AC 3-phase 30 amps. Turn the main power switch to the on position. The proper coolant mixture must be added to the machine before initial operation. Pre-mix the coolant by adding 32 ounces of recommended coolant to 5 gallons of potable water. Mix thoroughly for at least 5 minutes. Check the concentration using a refractometer. The strength should be maintained at 6%. Open the sliding door to the machine and from above, pour the coolant into the reservoir between the vise and the threading head. The coolant should be filled to the full mark. Always check coolant level prior to use of the machine and fill as needed. Close sliding door. It's essential that the threading head is properly lubricated with our head lubricating oil. Fill a 32-ounce oil gun with the head lubricating oil. Open the sliding door to access the head. Clean any metal shavings or debris away from the oil port on the threading head. Insert the end of the gun spout into each of the oil fittings on the threading head and squirt 2 to 3 pumps of oil into each fitting. The machine chassis uses Staplex grease to all 11 Zerk fitting. Open the sliding door and remove any metal shavings or debris from the 11 grease fittings. Insert the spout of the gun onto the Zerk grease fitting and squeeze the handle 2 times into each grease Zerk fitting. Refer to the service intervals in the operator's manual to understand how often you'll need to perform maintenance to these 11 fittings when in production. Make sure to log all maintenance activity into the maintenance log sheet provided in the back of your operator's manual. The control panel houses the operational controls and the electronic display screen. The emergency stop is a push and turn button that quickly stops the machine in the event of an emergency. After this button is pressed, there's a 30-second delay before it can be reset, as indicated by the counter in the HMI display screen. The e-stop reset button resets the machine after the emergency stoppage. After pushing this button, it takes 5 seconds before the reset is active. The manual or auto switch is a 2-position switch used to toggle between manual and automatic modes. Manual is used for setup and testing, while auto is used for running production. The work height raise or lower switch raises or lowers with a tolerance of +1 or -1 inch. The work height helps adjust desired rebar size to sit parallel on the roller table to the center line of the vise clamp. Turning the switch to the left raises the center line, while turning the switch to the right lowers it. This switch is only usable in manual mode. The thread size select switch selects the size of the rebar to be threaded. It's labeled 4 through 18, corresponding to the rebar sizes indicated on the size chart mounted to the right side of the control panel. The thread size set or home button returns the threading head to the home position for maintenance or to initiate the thread size change process. This switch is also only usable in manual mode. The bar clamp close button closes the vise clamp of the machine onto the inserted rebar. The corresponding indicator light illuminates when the vise is fully closed. In the automatic mode, the light will flash if depressed with either no bar in the clamp or a bar in the vise clamp that is smaller than the selected thread size. It's available in auto and manual modes. The bar clamp open button opens the vise clamp to release the rebar. The corresponding indicator light illuminates when the clamp is fully open. It's also available in auto and manual modes. The Auto Start button is used to initiate the automatic operation of the machine. The Auto Cycle indicator light illuminates when the machine is cycling in auto mode. Located in the upper right-hand corner of the control panel is the HMI panel for viewing the machine status. On the sides of the display are arrows that bring up other display screens. Along the bottom of the display are the function keys F1 through F4. The following screens are accessible in the display. The main screen is the most used screen for the operator. Operator instructional text is at the top of the display area. It's a multi-line textual display that shows the operator what steps to perform for automatic operation. In this case, it says to close the sliding door. Located in the lower left corner of the main screen is the Set Size indicator, which indicates the current rebar size the machine is set to. To the right of that is the Machine Status indicator. If it displays OK, there are no faults. When a fault is indicated, you'll need to go to the fault screen to identify the fault. We'll cover this screen later. Under the Machine Status display is the E-Stop Status display line. This shows the status of the emergency stop. When the machine is in an OK state, the machine can be operated. The E-Stop Reset button is a panel power button. When the light is on, the operator is able to operate the panel in manual or auto mode. When the light is off, the panel will be unresponsive. Pressing the down arrow from the main display screen will bring you to the Manual 1 screen. This screen helps you to jog the threading head in manual mode with no rebar in the clamp. The F1 function button jogs the threading head in the clockwise direction. The F2 function button jogs the threading head in the counterclockwise direction. The F3 function key jogs the feed axis in the forward direction towards the clamp. The F4 key jogs the feed axis in the reverse direction away from the clamp. Pressing the down arrow brings up Manual Screen 2. The Manual 2 screen controls the following. With no rebar in the clamp, the F1 key jogs the end stop up. The F2 key jogs the end stop down. And the F3 button turns on the coolant pump. The down arrow brings us back to Manual Screen 1. Pressing the down arrow brings us back to the main screen. Pressing the up arrow from the main screen brings up Fault Screen 1. This screen displays drive, transducer faults, the end stop fault, and the power fault. OK indicates no fault. Pressing the up arrow brings us to Fault Screen 2. The Fault Screen 2 displays motor overloads, head rotate faults, surge suppressor fault, and the end stop proximity switch fault. OK indicates no faults. The height and pump motor have overloads on the contractor in the main control cabinet. The head and feed amps are monitored by the PLC. The head rotate fault is feedback from the head pulse proximity switch. If the head rotation is less than 20 RPM in auto mode, it will fault. The F4 function key resets the machine faults. The left arrow takes us to the fault history screen. The fault history screen displays the last 100 faults that have occurred on the machine, as well as the date and time they occurred. Pressing the left arrow takes us back to the fault screens. Pressing the down arrow returns us to the main screen. Pressing the left arrow takes us to the production screen. The production screen shows hours and total cycles of the machine. These two features start when the machine is in auto mode. Refer to the manual for an explanation of each line on the display. Press the left arrow again to return to the main screen. Pressing the right arrow takes us to the monitor screen. The monitor screen provides readings from the drive amperage and measures feed and clamp positions. Before operating the machine, clean the threading head, chips, and last but not least, the chip bin. When emptying the chip bin, check the coolant level and fill as needed. Finally, lubricate the threading head with the head lubricant oil. Refer to service intervals after pre-operation to make sure service was complete. Turn the main power disconnect to the on position and wait for the HMI panel display on the control panel to power up. Normal procedures while powering up from the main disconnect are: press the F1 function key on the main display. Press the F4 function key to reset power on default when turning on the machine. It's important to make sure safety systems are active before every shift. Opening the door or pressing the red emergency stop button will disconnect power to the control panel. These are the two main safety features that help prevent the operator from injuries when working on the machine or the threading head. Press the e-stop reset button to turn on the light, then open the sliding door to turn off the e-stop reset light. Wait 30 seconds before pressing the e-stop reset button to turn the light back on. Press the emergency stop button to turn off the light. Wait 30 seconds before pressing the e-stop reset button to turn the light back on. It's important to make sure the chaser pitch matches the size of the rebar you're about to thread. This prevents damage to the chasers. The chart on the right side of the control panel shows the proper chaser pitch needed for the size of rebar you're threading. There are two sizes of chasers, 2.0 mm and 2.5 mm. Our 2.0 mm chasers thread rebar sizes number 4, number 5, and number 6. And the 2.5 mm chasers threads rebar sizes number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10, number 11, number 14, and number 18. You'll need to adjust the height of the machine when changing rebar sizes. To make sure you're parallel and within range, refer to the operator's manual to set the roller table to a reasonable height. When threading rebar, the rebar should be able to sit parallel on the rolling table when the rebar is in the clamped position. This allows the operator to better handle the rebar and helps center the rebar while threading. Press the e-stop reset button to turn on the light. Turn the manual auto switch to manual mode. Insert a shorter desired rebar into the vise to use as a guide and press and hold the bar clamp close button until the vise clamps onto the rebar. The rebar should bridge over to the rolling table to help raise or lower the machine. Raise or lower the machine so that the rebar is just touching the first roller. This will help with the inconsistence of the rebar. Finally, press and hold the bar clamp open button and remove the rebar from the machine. The operator must not only program the machine, but also manually adjust the threading head to the corresponding rebar size. Start by pressing the e-stop reset until the light turns on. Switch to the manual mode, then adjust the thread size select switch to match the rebar that you'll be threading. Make sure you have correct chaser pitch before proceeding. Press Thread Size Set Home button until the main screen indicates to open the door. The head should be positioned closest to the vise clamp. Set the threading head by turning the worm gear with the T-wrench, lining up the 0 line to the number size to be threaded. Finally, close the door and press the e-stop reset button until the light turns on. Wait for the bar clamp light to turn on, then press the thread size set Home button to move the threading head back to the home position. The threading head will position itself away from the vice clamp at this time. The main screen will then indicate when to turn the manual auto switch to auto mode. The lower left-hand corner of the HMI panel should now indicate the corresponding rebar size to be threaded. You're now ready to insert the rebar and begin threading. Before inserting the rebar, you as the operator must always indicate two things. First, the end of the rebar must be straight and not have a banana end. Second, make sure the machine is programmed correctly to the matching threading head. Once you've clarified those two things, you're now ready to proceed by inserting the rebar through the entry hole, passing through the vice clamp, making contact to the rebar end strike plate. Make sure to keep the toenails pointed down before pressing the bar clamp close. Press bar clamp close until light turns on. When threading, there are two important features you'll always need to watch and indicate. Watch the coolant flow and indicate coolant direction. After threading is complete, take out the rebar when vice releases. Visually inspect every rebar, checking for good thread pitch. To gauge the threads, thread on the corresponding thread checking window gauge. Select and screw on the corresponding thread checking window gauge. Make sure the gauge is on tight. The length should fall within the cutout length limit. Identify the correct pitch by ensuring a nice fit to threads. Identify whether the thread length is too short or too long. To adjust the length, open sliding door and turn the worm gear 1 or 2 clicks. The lines on the worm gear are called clicks. When you're done, close the door and press E-stop reset until the light turns on. If there's a power outage or you accidentally open up the door while threading, you'll need to follow the recovery from emergency stop procedure. After power is restored or you've pressed the emergency stop button, you must wait 30 seconds for the drives to power down. Turn the emergency button clockwise to release it. Press the E-stop reset button until the light turns on. Switch to the manual mode. Press the bar clamp open button until the yellow light turns on. Press the down arrow on the main screen of the HMI panel one time to access manual screen 1. Press feed forward until the head moves all the way forward. You're now able to take the rebar out of the machine. At the end of the day, you'll need to power down the machine. To do so, remove the rebar from the vice clamp. Turn the manual auto switch to manual mode. Press the emergency stop button and wait 30 seconds for drives to power down. Turn main power disconnect to off position. Then clean the threading head by wiping off any chips that may have accumulated. Periodically, chasers will need to be replaced. Chasers are to be evaluated by how they perform in determining threading the correct length and profile of corresponding number gauge. Make sure the E-stop reset light is on and the machine is in manual mode. Select number 18 on rebar thread size select switch and press the thread size home button. Open the door when indicated on the HMI panel. Dial cutting head to number 18, which will give you room to change out the chasers. Close the door and press the E-stop reset button again until the light turns on. Press the thread size select button again so the head will move away from the vise to the home position. This will give you space between the vise clamp and the threading head. At this time, open the door and take off the bar stop plate bolt and remove the bar stop end plate. Place the bar stop plate on top of the vise. You now have access to all 8 chaser clamp screws. Take all 4 chasers out of the threading head and clean any chips under the chaser clamps, as well as any surfaces where the chasers seat. Next, inspect and insert the new chasers one at a time. Chaser number 1 must match chaser holder slide number 1. Insert and slide the new chaser snugly to make sure the chaser is going to properly seat, allowing no debris to the seated surface. Make sure to have metal-to-metal contact between the chaser locating pin and the chaser. Snug down bolt 1, then bolt 2. Torque down bolt 1, then bolt 2. Bolts should only be tightened by hand with 6-inch Allen wrench tool supplied. Place chaser number 2, matching the chaser holder slide number 2. Insert and slide snugly to make sure chaser properly seats. Ensure metal-to-metal contact between the chaser locating pin and the chaser. Snug down bolt 1, then bolt 2. Torque down bolt 1, then bolt 2. Bolts should only be clamped down by hand with 6-inch Allen wrench tool supplied. Repeat the process for chasers number 3 and number 4. It's very important when cleaning the chaser holder slides to prevent any chips or debris from entering the inside of the head cavity. First, press the E-stop reset button until the light turns on. Turn thread size select switch to number 11 and press thread size set home button. Open the door and dial the threading head to number 11. Number 11 is the only number position where you're able to take out the chaser holder slides and put them back when servicing these parts. The other important step is to have the threading head in the thread size set position. This is where the threading head is closest to the vise clamp. This is also the ideal position for taking out the 4 chaser holder slides. First, clean the threading head of any chips and debris. Proceed to take off bar stop bolt and bar stop end plate and place plate on top of vise clamp. Now you're able to start taking off the number 1 and number 2 faceplate. Each time wiping off corners of the chaser holder slide in a controllable direction. Slide out chaser holder slide number 1 and wipe the slot corner to prevent anything from entering the inside cavity of the threading head. Take off faceplate number 3 and repeat. Clean corners, remove chaser holder slide number 2, clean slot corners. Take off faceplate number 4 and repeat. Clean corners, remove chaser holder slide number 3 and 4, clean slot corners. Make sure to clean parts with a parts washer or WD-40. A fine bench stone is to be used once all riding surfaces are flat. Reverse the process by inserting number 1 and number 2 chaser holder slide and place faceplate number 1 to threading head face. Equally snug down faceplate bolts to faceplate. Insert number 3 chaser holder slide, then number 2 faceplate and bolts. Lubricate inside threading head to the number 4 chaser holder slide hole, then insert number 4 chaser holder slide following faceplate number 3 and number 4. Each chaser holder slide should have a small up and down movement when positioned at the 12 o'clock position. All parts should slide into place. No hammer is provided and should not be used in any application. Other services to also consider are coolant, lubricating threading head, and lubricating chassis. See service for procedures in your operator's manual. Service intervals are to be performed by the operator or maintenance department to maintain performance of the machine. All maintenance to the machine is to be logged in the maintenance log sheet provided in the operator's manual. A chart is provided in the operator's manual to help understand what the operator is experiencing. The chart is broken into 3 sections: mechanical, threading head, and electrical. Follow procedures in the operator's manual for returning a machine. Begin by turning main power to the off position. Make sure 2 bolts underneath control panel are securely tightened. Unplug and wrap extension cord by placing the cord in the drip pan underneath electrical panel box. Drain coolant from the machine prior to shipping. Coolant drain valve is located on the back side of the machine under the vise motor. Clean and wipe down machine, empty chip bin, package and place contents in toolbox and under electrical box. To ensure the safety of the machine and forklift operator, strap machine down to base of pallet through the forklift slots. Place top and side covers over the machine and screw to the base. Thank you for viewing our D303 taper lock instructional video. Contact Dayton Superior for additional information at 800-800-7966 or by visiting www.daytonsuperior.com/taper-lock.